Explosions rock Caracas as Venezuela faces military strikes, triggering shock and uncertainty. Caracas, Venezuela. A wave of explosions and military action erupted in Venezuela's capital early Saturday, shaking neighborhoods across Caracas and leaving residents reeling as the country confronts an escalating conflict with unknown long-term consequences. The blasts, heard from multiple districts, sparked panic among civilians and raised fears of a significant shift in regional stability. Eyewitnesses reported hearing a series of loud detonations in the pre-dawn hours, followed by heavy smoke rising above the skyline. As the sun rose, residents emerged onto the streets amid debris and confusion, trying to piece together what had happened in their city overnight. In many neighborhoods, power flickered or was cut entirely, adding to a climate of uncertainty. Chaos and confusion in the capital. The explosions occurred suddenly, sending shockwaves through Caracas and prompting widespread alarm calls to emergency services. Videos shared by residents captured dramatic scenes of clouds of smoke, trembling buildings, and people rushing to find safety. Some neighbors huddled in doorways, while others opened windows in stunned silence, trying to understand the source of the blasts. Local authorities struggled to provide clear information as chaos unfolded, urging people to remain calm and stay indoors until more details could be confirmed. Hospitals and clinics in the area reported receiving numerous calls from civilians experiencing shock or minor injuries from falling debris. Roads in several high-impact zones were reportedly blocked as first responders worked to clear access and assess damage. U.S. military strikes reported. As the initial fog of the explosions began to lift, reports emerged that the detonations were linked to military strikes carried out by U.S. forces in or near Caracas. According to international and regional sources, U.S. military aircraft conducted precision strikes targeting locations associated with Venezuela's leadership and security infrastructure, including sites tied to President Nicolas Maduro's government. Officials in Washington described the operation, which took place in the early morning hours, as a strategic attempt to neutralize key assets and personnel believed to be involved in ongoing threats or destabilizing activity. At the same time, U.S. authorities emphasized that they sought to avoid widespread civilian harm, conducting the action with calculated precision. The surprise nature of the strikes left many Venezuelans bewildered, with residents trying to reconcile the booming sounds of explosions with official statements that were slow to materialize. Street vendors, commuters, and families preparing for the day's routines suddenly found themselves caught in the aftermath of a major military engagement. Government and opposition reactions. Within government circles in Caracas, the response was swift and defiant. Officials loyal to President Maduro condemned the strikes as a violation of Venezuelan sovereignty and a blatant act of aggression. State media outlets broadcast statements calling for national unity, labeling the U.S. actions as an assault on the homeland, and urging citizens to rally in defense of the republic. Opposition leaders and critics of Maduro's regime expressed a more complex range of reactions. While denouncing any external military intervention on principle, some opposition figures acknowledged the deepening crisis within Venezuela and reiterated their long-standing calls for political change and democratic reforms. These leaders called for calm and restraint, emphasizing the importance of avoiding civilian harm amid the unfolding situation. Civilians face uncertain morning. By midday, residents across Caracas were trying to return to some semblance of normalcy, even as fear and confusion lingered. Markets opened tentatively, street traffic resumed in parts of the city, and conversations among neighbors focused on what had just transpired as well as on the uncertainty of what lay ahead. Parents comforted frightened children, and community networks worked to check on the vulnerable and share updates, even as rumors and unverified reports spread through social media. Many were struggling to make sense of how a routine weekend morning had suddenly been transformed into a moment of national crisis. International response and regional tension. The international community reacted quickly to the events. Governments around the region issued statements urging de-escalation, emphasizing the need for dialogue and an end to violence. Some countries called for emergency sessions at regional organizations to address the crisis and prevent further instability. World leaders appealed for respect for Venezuelan sovereignty and the protection of civilians. In Washington, U.S. officials defended their actions as measured and necessary to address what they described as a growing threat emanating from elements within Venezuela's political and security apparatus. They reiterated their intent to avoid civilian casualties and affirmed that the strike was carried out with precision technology designed to limit collateral damage. Looking ahead, as Caracas calmed but remained tense, one thing was certain. Saturday's events marked a dramatic escalation in Venezuela's ongoing political and social turmoil. The coming hours and days were expected to bring more statements from governments, assessments from military analysts, and urgent discussions among diplomats seeking to reduce the risk of further conflict. For the people of Caracas, the memory of the explosions, and the questions that followed, was not easily forgotten. What began as a quiet dawn was shattered by the sounds of military force, leaving ordinary citizens to confront both confusion and resolve in the face of a rapidly developing crisis.